Is there not an entire section on this subject?
Yes, I may have changed my mind in the meantime on that, so it's unfair. I may have changed my mind about Mithra, for example.
Is your book for sale back?
Yes, it
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me.
Say it like you mean it. This is my Bible.
What up? I got something to say.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let Me Tell You, episode 56. I'm your host, the Evangelical Norm. Yes, I understand that I am a day late and I'm $1,200 short. We have not got any stimulus from the government yet. Not that I'm really looking for it, but, you know, it'd be nice to have a couple bucks in my pocket. And honestly, we had to pay taxes this year, so in order to get it, we actually had to go sign up for it. And so usually I'm not a fan of the stimulus stuff, but you know what? The government shut us down. The government needs to pay us. Reality, we're paying us. It's our money. I mean, do you really think the government has any money? That they're paying you with other people's money. So, yeah. There you go. Stimulus rant over. Was it a rant? I don't know what it was. Man, it has been a week. It has been, I mean, I think since this lockdown, each week has gotten more and more. I mean, obviously, if you're listening to my podcast or watching my podcast, you know that I've gotten more and more frustrated as the weeks have gone on. And yeah, this week is no different. I'm had to adjust the lighting there for a minute. I'm still just as frustrated, more frustrated. I'm ready. I'm really glad to see that people are out there protesting, saying open us back up. I'm glad to hear Trump say that we are in the process of opening up. I'm ecstatic that our church is meeting in the church this week. We get to, and again, we're practicing social distancing, so it's going to be really, really hard for me. I'm not going to be able to hug anybody. And if you know me, that's tough. I mean, not even able to shake people's hands and stuff like that. But out of safety's sake and respect for the people in the church, I will respect those boundaries, except for the people who want to hug. And if you want a hug, come tell me and I'll give you a hug. I'm all about hugging. So, yeah, we are. I'm a day late, so I'm recording this Monday night into Tuesday morning. So a couple of other things, a little more info to kind of chew on while we talk about what's happening. But and I didn't update my coronavirus numbers. So these are actually Sunday's numbers. These were the numbers I prepped for yesterday, and then had all kinds of technical difficulties with OBS, and so I said bag it. I went to bed early and said I'll do it tomorrow. So worldwide confirmed coronavirus cases 2 million. So remember, we got 7 billion people in this world. So this is a very, very low number of people who have got that. Deaths worldwide, 159,000. Okay, I mean, death is tragic. It's sad, but this is, I mean, again, in the fact that the numbers, I don't think we can, I didn't think we could trust the numbers initially, but we can't trust the numbers now, because how many of these deaths are actually underlying conditions that are just being said that they're coronavirus. Sorry, I have a TV in here that runs photos of my family photos and stuff. It's all the stuff off of my Facebook. Is just like the screensaver for my Chromecast, and it's on all the time. And I just happened to look over and see a picture of me and my daughter asleep on the couch. So sorry for the little giggle and the little side note. Cases in the U.S., 732,000. Now, as far as we can tell, these numbers are, I mean, as far as people have been tested, these numbers are reliable, the number of cases. But again, not many people, if you haven't been symptomatic, you haven't been tested. Again, I saw a post the other day of somebody saying that if you thought you had it before December, you're out of your mind. I am convinced that I had this in November. All the symptoms I had, and it was horrible, and it lasted 2 weeks. Deaths in the U.S., 38,000. I would venture to say half of those are actually coronavirus deaths and not underlying condition deaths that were going to happen anyway. And that's, again, I have to preface that. It sounds callous, and maybe it is a little bit, but I mean, death is a reality. I posted on Facebook today, I refuse to live in fear. The reality is if I never left my house again, if I never hugged my wife or kissed my daughter or shook a stranger's hand, if I never ever came into contact with any human being ever again, death would still find me. It's the only, they say there's only two guarantees in this life, death and taxes. Well, in reality, there's only one, because you can find a way around taxes. There's only one guarantee in life. You're going to die. And again, I mean, people just angry because I would just outright say it, but it's reality. 10 out of 10 people die. Life is a terminal disease. Ain't no one getting out of here alive. I mean, I can throw out all the cliches you want. Reality is, and the reality is they've made it clear that these numbers are not, they're not accurate. They're not trustworthy. Because anybody, I mean, and the memes have been, the meme play is on point with, man eaten by shark, died of coronavirus, right? Or hit by a bus, man run over by steamroller, died of coronavirus. And that's essentially, if they even suspect that you had it. I mean, there was something that I read today, and I wish I had remembered the what I read. And again, it's media, so questionable. That they're people that they're saying died of coronavirus without even testing them to see if they had the virus. If they showed any symptoms and they died, whether it was they had underlying conditions or not, they died of coronavirus. So I don't trust these numbers. Sorry. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't trust these numbers. And I honestly, I posted again this morning that I was excited about meeting with the church this coming Sunday, and that I was also eager to read the subtweets and so on. And I did get subtweeted by a couple of people I know. And, so it's like, you know what? We need to get out and start building up herd immunity. We seriously need to get. I came home from work today, and the first question my wife asked me when I walked in the door is, how long will it take for all of us to get this? Because in reality, once we open back up, we are going to spike again. We are going to have an increase in cases and so on. But we need to do that because we need younger, healthier people to get through this so we can start building up herd immunity. And again, I saw something that people don't think herd immunity works. It's funny how, months ago when it was dealing with whatever and measles and so on, we're seeing this, and it's because of the anti-vaxxers. They're like, oh, well, you have to have the herd immunity and blah, blah, blah. Vaccines, everybody, my vaccine doesn't work for your kid's vaccine, and all the things that they said. But now suddenly, well, no, it's not. You can't go out and develop a herd immunity. Well, come on, people, make up your mind. Here is the reality of it. Again, I have my mother-in-law living here, and I love my mother-in-law dearly. And I will do everything that I can do to try to avoid from making her sick. I will go out. I will live my life. I will do my thing. I will go to restaurants with my wife. I will, and if my mother-in-law is still concerned about it, she can stay home. This is the reality of how quarantine works. You should not be quarantining healthy people. It is the people who are sick and the people who are, I hate to say prone to this, because again, keep hearing, people make comments like the virus targets. The virus doesn't target anybody. The virus isn't cognitive of what it is doing. It's just out there, but it affects people differently. I have diabetes and hypertension, so supposedly I'm in this more, a date. I can't think of the word that I want to use. Because I wouldn't say I'm immunocompromised. My diabetes and my hypertension doesn't make me more susceptible to this. It's not, I don't have respiratory issues, except for the fact that I'm out of shape. And, when I have to do a big job, I get a little winded sometimes, but I can walk up and down the steps and not feel it. So it's not a respiratory issue. But people who are, who have underlying conditions that can make them more susceptible or more prone to death, I guess that would be the statement that I would make. Those are the people who should stay home and should quarantine and should ask people, hey, if you're going to come over, will you please wear a mask? Because I don't know if you have it. Reality is, me wearing a mask is not protecting me. It's protecting you. If I have it, it is protecting you from me, because the mask catches the droplets. If I were to, express those or so on. I got my mask. Shout out to Hog Mob. I got my mask. So, but yeah, so, and I have other friends that have seriously immune conditions, immunocompromised issues, and so on. We used to have our house church at their home, and the first thing we would do when we got there for house church, first thing every person would do was go wash their hands, because we care for our friend who is immunocompromised, and so we want to wash our hands. We don't give full-on hugs, a shoulder bump or a side hug or something like that after we washed our hands. These are things that people do. You do not have to stay at home. That's the reality of it. I honestly, and here's the deal. There's no way to say that staying at home curved this thing any more than going out, because my life didn't change at all. I still have to go to work. I'm essential. I've got not a thing changed, except for the fact that we haven't gone to the restaurants the way that we used to. And we've eaten out a few times where we've gone and either done pickup or had it delivered. We haven't had a whole lot of delivery, but we go and pick up the food. So again, we're not standing inside and we're not sitting, but here's the reality, folks. Unless, of course, you're at like a concert or a game or in a movie theater, how often are you within 6 feet of a complete stranger? Okay, maybe for a few minutes standing in line at whatever restaurant if you're ordering, but once you're there and you get seated, you're in close contact with your family, and you might have someone sitting behind you, but how often are you turning around and breathing on them and stuff like that? So in reality, going out in that sense, and if we have restaurants and stuff like that that are properly sanitizing after each customer, wiping down tables with a sanitizing agent, the issue should not be an issue. So there you got my coronavirus rant for the day. It looks like we're going to start opening up. I said it last week, I wanted to meet with my church and I wanted to have a proper poker game. Well, I got one out of the two, and who knows, maybe Outlaw Bar, if you're watching this, highly unlikely, open up on Sunday. Whether they let you or not, exercise a little civil disobedience, bring your employees in, pay your customers. I will come in and I will spend my money in your bar. Grinders, let's have a poker game. There we go. That is my desire for this coming Sunday. I get to go and have fellowship with my church family. And here's the deal. I will be there through both services. So what we're doing, instead of one service, we're going to do 2 services so that we can, spread out more and have less people in the room to afford the ability to social distance. I will be there for both services because I want to see everybody in my church family who's able to come to church this Sunday. So I'll be there, both services. I'll be standing by the front door as people are coming in. I won't be shaking hands and I won't be hugging, but I will be saying hello because that's what I do. And that's how much I love my church family, and I am ecstatic. And I'm getting a lump in my throat. This is how excited and emotional I am about wanting to be with my church family. I mean, I love being with my family. It's been great. It's been phenomenal, the time, but I mean, we spend the time together. I mean, again, my time with my family has not gotten that much more, except for the fact that I haven't had, I've cut down 2 poker games a month now. And other than that, I'm not going every other week to play poker on Sunday nights. I still had my poker game with the church guys last week, which we will be having one again this week, and I'll be making an announcement. But other than that, my family time hasn't changed at all because I still have to go to work. What I've lost is my time with my church family. So there you go. That rant is over, and now I just want to talk about the Bizzaro, the law enforcement of Bizzaro world, because that's where we have found ourselves. So most of you have probably seen this image, this video. The state of California, literally, and I'm not sure what beach this is. Venice Beach, I think, in Venice, California. I'm not sure. I heard someone say, I don't remember, but they literally dumped 37 tons of sand in the skate park to keep skaters from going in and skating, to make sure that they social distance. So the fantastic thing about this, and this is by order of the governor. This is and we're seeing people, law enforcement, giving citations for people who are being out. We saw it in Kentucky, the church services, where people got $500 fines for sitting in their car listening to their pastor, because they weren't properly social. I mean, the power grab and the tyranny, literally, this is the word that we use for it, this is tyranny that has been expressed by the government and police departments around this country. Now, Utah didn't have an actual order. It was a recommendation. There was no order. There was no rule of law. I know they tried to do it in Salt Lake City, and I even had a bar owner that I went to do a pest control service for say, well, if I even open that door, they're gonna fine me or arrest me. And I'm like, dude, no, they won't. Okay, wasn't able to do a service because he's convinced that he's going to go to jail. But we are seeing, people are talking about putting people in jail for not. I mean, it goes de Blasio and Cuomo in New York and Newsom in California, all these governors that are the governor in Michigan was the lady that was like, you can't leave your house, you can't go from house to house, and you can't buy gardening supplies. And then she tried to blow it off by, well, there'll be snow, so that's taking care of it anyway. I mean, this is literal tyranny. The great thing about this is the skaters said, well, okay, a classic example of you give them lemons and they're going to make lemonade. They took and they turned the skate park, instead of a skate park, they turned it into a dirt bike, a motocross thing. They moved the dirt and made some jumps and stuff like that, and they brought their dirt bikes in and they rode. So, you know what? Thumb their nose at the government there, and I think that is phenomenal. So we've got all these police agencies that, and you see the memes, they're letting prisoners out of jail to avoid, the quarantining of them together, the the closed quarters so they don't get coronavirus, but then they're threatening to lock people up who go out and don't properly social distance. I mean, the irony and the hypocrisy and all that, just wafting up the aroma of all those things, is just insane. So you've got all these police agencies that are overstepping their bounds in trying to tell people where they can and can't go and what they can and can't do and how close they can be to other people. And yet in Texas this week, and this is a really bad picture. I wish Marcus had posted. This was the only picture I could find. I wish Marcus had posted a better, maybe a lower. I'm assuming that it's posted this way to cut the face of the young girl who had an abortion out of the picture. But this is at an abortion mill in, I want to say, Fort Worth, Texas, was where they were. John C. Speed, Saitem Brutenkate, Marcus Pittman were all down here doing evangelism and videotaping at an abortion clinic, and this guy comes out and brandishes his weapon. And literally, I mean, in a threatening manner. I mean, okay, did he point it directly at Marcus? No, but the law is in Texas, if you brandish the weapon with the intent to intimidate, it is illegal. And that is exactly what this dude was doing. He pulled his gun to intimidate the guys who were preaching and offering help for these women at this abortion clinic. Mill. I apologize, it's not a clinic. I can't call it that. And so the intention was to intimidate. So they called the Fort Worth police. They did nothing. I think they may have finally, after everything, what did they call it? A Class B misdemeanor. And so there was no actual citation or anything, and they need to do some investigation, and then they may go pick him up with a warrant. I guarantee you they're doing nothing. Nothing. Just yesterday, I believe, or Saturday, another gun was pulled on someone from Apologia Church in Arizona at I want to say the Tempe Planned Parenthood. So we're seeing this, and police are doing nothing about it. So we've got this, I mean, and this is why I'm calling the episode, the law enforcement of Bizzaro world. Is because we've got police that are literally like taking a page out of, and here I'm gonna get flack for this, taking a page out of the Gestapo tactics of the Nazis, and you can't go here, you can't do this, you can't drive down. I mean, literally, guys that are wakeboarding 20 feet away from anybody around them getting cited and arrested in California, and women out jogging with nobody around them being arrested because they're not staying at home. The police are citing these people and arresting these people, but then when you've got guys like this that are brandishing weapons and people that are pulling guns, and the police are doing nothing about it. I mean, this has just completely turned this nation upside down and on its freaking ear. I mean, New York is building an app so you can, great Babylon Bee article today. I wish I had pulled it up so I could read the title, but essentially the app is called Karen, because so you can snitch out your neighbors who are not properly social distancing. And then again, somebody else, another meme that went around that now apparently calling women Karen is likened unto the N-word, and it's misogynistic, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go back to last week. I didn't cue up the Stop the World. I need the dulcet tones of Gary Sharon to stop the world. I want to get off. This has become insanity. And the only way the sanity is going to be restored is if we get back out and get back to our lives in general. And that's what we need to do. We need to open it back up. We need to let the young and healthy people get back out there, start living their lives. I mean, Sweden is basically through this thing, because They've developed a herd immunity. They didn't shut anything down, and they let people go out and do what they were going to do. And they've kind of gotten through it. Now we've kept everybody cooped up, and now we're going to get back out there and we're going to experience another spike. And are they going to try to shut us down then? Again? We can't be shut down forever. We just can't. I mean, again, it's a ridiculous idea. You know, people are losing their businesses. Why is it more loving your neighbor when you're telling people to stay home to lose their businesses, that people might commit suicide because they lose everything, their financial ruin, which we know, that's not an exaggeration, we know that happens, over the fact that we're saying let everybody get back to work and let people get back to their businesses. And if you have a propensity to get an extreme extreme reactions to this virus, then you please feel free to stay home, and we'll make accommodations for that. But rather than telling everybody in the world, this is like, the whole class suffers for one person's actions taken to an extreme, and you're hearing it, the ridiculous comments that people are making. Oh, well, now we've got to start all this over because you people went out and you had a protest and blah blah blah. No, it is our right to protest. It is our right to work, to live, the pursuit of happiness. And you telling me that I have to stay home is violating that constitutional right. And I'm sorry that you don't like it and you think that I hate old people and I just want people to die. That's not true. I just want people to be able to live their lives, and I want to live my life. And as somebody who is in a category where I'm more prone to having an extreme response to this, so be it. If you have issues, underlying conditions, and you want to stay home, please do that. Please, I respect your right to social distance and stay home and keep yourself safe. You have no right to tell me that I have to. And that's what makes this whole thing so frustrating. Because me wanting to get out, wanting my friends to be able to continue to have their businesses, to support their family, my desire for that somehow makes me like a serial killer in the eyes of some people. I literally have had somebody say, when I said I didn't want to abide by these stay-at-home rules and stuff like that, I literally had one of my groomsmen from my wedding who told me that I was going to leave a trail of bodies in my wake. What kind of ridiculousness is that? That's just stupid. Because here's the deal, and no, I haven't been tested for the antibodies, and maybe I didn't, but I am convinced that I had this back in the end of last year, and I went to church, I served communion, I hugged people, I went and played poker, I went to restaurants, I went to all these places, movies, you name it, I was there, and nobody died. Nobody died. This is not a death sentence for everybody who gets it. Not everybody is going to get it. And if you take care to wash your hands and avoid breathing on people or coughing on people and sneezing on people, then you're not absolutely going to pass it. This is not the super germ. This germ, this virus, will abide by the same laws as anything else if we just maintain our own safety. Wash your filthy hands, cough into your elbow, sneeze into your elbow. Don't get in people's faces that aren't your family. I mean, you shouldn't be breathing the same air as anybody that you're not related to anyway. And even people you're related to. I love my cousins and stuff like that, but I tell you what, when we hang out and we do get together, I'm not within that close of a range that I'm going to, just being in their presence is going to make them sick. It's just not. We have been sold a bill of lies, on this, and the models that were given at the beginning. I mean, Stanford has apparently got, and I haven't seen the actual study. Steve Dace put out a video about it and talked about it a bit, but apparently they've got some, off the data that we've already experienced, they have put out some good information that is completely different than the models that we were given, that was complete speculation. So, there you go. My rant is over. Many of you hate me now, and I'm okay with that. I honestly am. I just want to see my friends be able to get back to work. And I'll tell you what, here's the last thing. Here I'm going to jump up on a soapbox and tell you this. When this is all over, when we are able to go out, when restaurants are opened up again, please go support your local mom and pop shops. You know, avoid Applebee's and Chili's and Chick-fil-A and so on. And I mean, I say Chick-fil-A, but understand that each Chick-fil-A is individually owned. And so, but, you know, go hit the local places. If you're here in Ogden, go hit Criddle's Cafe. You know, go down and buy a cup of coffee from Futures Coffee in Layton, or Grounds for Coffee, or Hub City Coffee, one of these small places that has not had business for almost a month now, or over a month for some of them, that are seriously going to be struggling. Maybe drop a little extra tip if you can, you know, and support these smaller shops. You know, shop local. You know, I know that there are tons of places that have the things that go on where it's like shop local Saturday or whatever, shop small or something to that effect. Hit the smaller places. It might cost you a little bit more, but do it. Go out and support our local businesses so these places don't go away. You know, the big box stores, the franchises and stuff like that, they're likely going to be all right. It's these really small places, you know. I mean, Chick-fil-A has lost a little bit of business, but the lines are still really long of people going in and picking up takeout and getting delivery and curbside delivery and drive-through and stuff like that. You know, McDonald's, I don't think is hurting, Burger King, any of those places, but the small places like Jeremiah's, like Pepito's and Roosters and stuff like that. I mean, these are just local places for me. They're the ones that are suffering. So get out and support them when this is all said and done. Spend a little extra time in the smaller cafes and the smaller restaurants and the smaller coffee shops, and avoid your Starbucks for a couple of months just to help these other people get back on their feet. So there you go. Rant over. Hope some of you still like me, and as always, preach the gospel at all times. Use words, they're necessary. Until next week, hopefully I'll be on time. Soli Deo Gloria.